Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review. In this watch review, we're looking at the Melbourne Watch Co.'s third watch. That's the Portsea, and it is their flagship watch to date. It's their most expensive and their most luxurious watch. It retails at 775 Australian dollars, which equals about just over £400, around 405 Great British pounds. As we look through it, we'll see that there is a few very nice aspects to it, which provides the reason behind the higher than normal price. So we've already reviewed the Flinders, their first model, and then the Hawthorne, their second, and now obviously we're looking at the third. So we've been very impressed with what Melbourne have produced so far, and this third instalment is no different. Okay, so when we think about the case then to start with, the size is 40 mm in diameter, so it's a very nice size, almost the perfect size in my opinion. 12.5 mm tool, and it has a lug-to-lug length of 48 mm. So this means that it is a very nice, smart dress watch size. Obviously, the style isn't of a dress watch, but rather more of a marine type of watch, which in my eyes is a very beautiful, crisp and clean design. So I really like the marine style watches. It has 100 meters water resistance as well. A sapphire crystal on the top with an anti-reflective coating on the underside, which I really do believe is excellent. As you can see, it's really clear. You can see every detail nicely, and there's no reflections whatsoever. So the anti-reflective coating is really effective. So I'm really impressed by that. So let's carry on thinking about the case actually before we move on to anything else. The case is all completely polished, very well machined, absolutely spotless in every angle. It is quite tall at 12.5 mm, but it doesn't feel overly tall when you're wearing it. It just looks quite impressive when you're looking at the watch. That's all. You notice there's a little pusher at 2 as well. That is the month. You press that to advance the month, and we'll talk about the movement a little bit more in a while. So it's quite nice how it's broken up as well, with this quite tall section for the bezel as well. So I do like these very clean classic lines splitting it up. I think they've done a really good job on designing it. The crown is just a push-pull crown with the Melbourne logo engraved on the end. You can see it there. Again, very well made. Reasonable grip, just enough to be able to use it, but not so much that it spoils the aesthetics. Moving on to the case back. Now I really believe they've done an absolutely wonderful job on the case back here. So it's just fitted with 4 screws in all corners, and as you can see, it's this marine scene here. It's stamped, so much higher quality than your usual engraving or laser etched case back, and it really is excellently well done. It's almost as high quality as some of the high end Swiss watches. It sort of like brings to mind a case back of a Omega Planet Ocean almost. The one thing I am slightly disappointed in is how everything is wonderful and really nice, and then just the Melbourne logo in the middle could be a little tiny bit deeper. It just seems to be lacking a little bit in the centre, which is a shame. I mean, you can still read it and you can still see it, but it's just not quite as deep as everything else. So that would have been nice if that little bit in the centre was just as deep as everything else. But apart from that, it's a really glorious case back and really impressive at a watch at this price. Obviously, we need to keep in mind that it is a watch costing 400 quid. So that's the case, very impressive case. Now let's move on to the dial. Now the main thing going for the dial is that this main is 3 layers first of all, and this main layer here, the layer with all the numbers on, and also the two subdials, that's actually made of ceramic. So think of a nice shiny kitchen tile or bathroom tile. That's the kind of appearance it gives. It is really nice, in the flesh. It provides a really nice shine and glare to the watch. It makes it look really impressive, really expensive as well. So the watch, yes, the watch does cost £400, but actually it genuinely gives the impression in the flesh that it does cost a lot of money. So in that regard, it's not really a problem. The dial, it's all quite clean and crisp, keeping with the marine theme of the watch. So we have our dials on the outer main level, but then this outer minute ring is on a higher level. That's our top level. You can see sort of there where it's providing a slight shadow where it's on a higher level, and then this lower level at the back with a nice line effect to it, which again provides an extra level of depth. So with that, those lines coupled with the three layers to the dial really does provide a fantastic amount of depth to the watch. It's really impressive to see, especially coupled with the ultra clear sapphire crystal. So it is excellent to wear, excellent to look at, and really does give you a lot of it's just got a really good aura about it when you're wearing it. All the printing on it is absolutely flawless as well. The dial itself is executed perfectly. We'll have a look with the macro lens in a bit, but all the printing is really seamless, very nicely done. I do like the just the design in general is very smart, very nicely designed. As you can see, the hands, moving on to the hands, they are blued. So in some lights, such as this one, they look black, but when you hit the light just right, you can see that it's a nice blue, has a nice blue hue to it. So that's really nice to see, brings a little splash of colour in. Our date window at the bottom, I love date windows at 6, so again that's really pleasing to me, and it's really subtle and it fits perfectly as well. So far so good. Let's just have a look at the movement now. So when the movement is pushed in normally, you can wind it just from there, pull it out to the first position, and we can change the date going one way, and then go the other way to change the day. You see that? Pull it out to the second position, and you see the second hand hacks, and then we can adjust the time very easily. And then to change the month, you just have to get something small and thin and push that little pusher, push it in, and it just advances the months to the next month. I usually like to use my tools, my watch toolkit, the tools that I use to change straps. It just fits nicely in there and it won't mark it or scratch it or anything like that. The movement is a Miyota 9120. As you can see, it's got high beats movement as well. So it runs at 28.8 thousand beats per hour, which means 8 ticks a second. Same amount as you'll find in any Swiss-made watch. And obviously Miyotas are fast becoming extremely popular in the world of affordable watches because they offer excellent value, high quality movements with specs that rival higher end Swiss movements. So there's no surprise at all that Melbourne Watch Co have used the Miyota here. It's basically a Miyota 9015, which is their very popular watch movement, but with the triple calendar. So there we go. So thinking about the strap now, this came on a very nice brown leather strap. It's apparently German leather, and it is very simple to see that it is higher quality than what Melbourne have been using in the past. Again, it sort of goes with the higher price tag, but very luxurious, very comfortable on the wrist. It's very soft. The one tiny thing I don't particularly like is how it's apparently, according to the specs, 21mm lug width, which is a bit annoying because usually you get 20mm or you get 22mm straps. So the fact that it's 21mm, you know, it's not a problem because personally I would recommend just leaving it on the strap. It's that good quality. But if you were to want to find an alternative or a replacement, it may be a little bit awkward to find one at that width to your liking. But that shouldn't put you off from buying the watch at all, because as I mentioned, the strap is very good quality and good enough to keep it on. Usually with, you know, with slightly more affordable watches, the leather straps aren't so good. So it's good to see that on a watch costing this much. So we have the buckle as well, which is the same as all of the Melbourne watch co's. Very nice buckle, unusual shape as well, which I've always enjoyed. It features this quite big bulge here to hold the Melbourne logo in. Very easy to use, nice and comfortable. It's actually a really, I don't know what it is about it, but it is actually really more so easier than most of the other watches I use. So it is very good, and it does the job just fine. And obviously it's highly polished, completely polished, just to match the watch case as well. So the strap, I believe, reduces to 18mm at the buckle. So if I just show you it on. So there we go. I have a 7.5-inch wrist for your reference. Okay, so let's just get the macro lens on and we'll have a look at it in closer detail. Okay, so let's start with the case then. Have a look at this polished finishing. Absolutely spotless and mirror-like. No marks whatsoever, so very impressive. Very nicely done. If I just flip it over this side, we can have a look at the little pusher. So there it is, that's the date, the month pusher. And then here's the crown, moving on. The problem with having a polished case is that it does get fingerprints on very easily. So that's the Melbourne logo on the end of the crown. And you can see the grip there as well. Then if I flip it over, we'll be able to look at the case back now. Again, you'll be able to see what I mean, how impressive this stamped scene is, with tridents and anchors and the like. There's the Melbourne logo in the centre, which is deep enough, but it would have been nicer to be deeper, because then it would have really just made the case back even more impressive. Surrounding it, we have these watch specifics as well. There we go. Again, very nicely machined out there. There's an example of one of the screws that hold it in, and the underside of the lugs there. There we go. So let's move on to the dial now. So we'll start with the bottom section. We can see the nice linear pattern on it, and all the printing is absolutely flawless. There's the date window. If I just change the date, whilst just pull it out. Let's change the date. There we go. So moving on to the next level, we have the ceramic level now. You can see it reflecting in the light, and the printing is all very nicely done on that. See the numbers there. And then finally we have this third level, which is the minute track around the outside. Again, all the printing is flawless and very impressive. So the hands again are blue, as we mentioned before, blued. You can see there. They're all very nicely made as well. Can't really see any flaws or problems with them whatsoever. Then we have the classic Melbourne M as the counterweight on the second hand. There she goes. And then these smaller hands are looking very smart as well, doing their job nicely. So there we go. Just finally the strap then. Just look at the underside of the leather, is very soft, resulting in a very comfortable wear. On the wrist you can't really notice it when you're wearing it. Here's the Melbourne logo stamped into it. Again, a nice touch to see. And finally, the buckle. There's the Melbourne logo etched in the end. It's all highly polished, just like the case, very impressive. I do like these two little channels down either side as well. It's a nice little feature. Breaks it up nicely and looks pretty good. There we have it. Okay. So, in terms of an affordable watch, you know, we're not going to lie, £400 is a lot of money, but you do get a very, very impressive watch for that. Everything about it really oozes high quality. Even though it's not Swiss made, it could pass off to be a very expensive watch. I do believe that it's one of the nicest new watches I've seen in a while as well. They've done an excellent job with the design, and I'm not one of the only ones who think that either. It's proved to be extremely popular on a lot of the watch forums, especially Watch You Seek. So Melbourne have done a really good job. I know Sujane quite well as well, because obviously I have reviewed his past two watches, and I plan to review the next model as well, the Parkville. And he is a very nice man, very honest, and he's just done a really great job here. So if you do like the watch, I would highly recommend it. And what's more, you'd be supporting great micro brands such as this. So there we go. So all in all, good watch, brilliant watch, great movement, excellently built, really high quality. It's lovely to see the ceramic dial as well, something a little bit unusual, but everything's flawlessly executed and really, really nicely done, and a beautiful design to boot as well. So highly recommended. I didn't mention actually, you do get a 2-year warranty with this as well, which is slightly higher than normal. So there we go. That's always worth noting, isn't it? So there we go. So this was the Melbourne Portsea, and that's what it's all about.